All right. Hey everybody, and welcome back to another episode of the VOD Squad, the show where we, the three of us, talk about streaming devices, streaming content, streaming providers, and pretty much anything else that comes to mind, you know? Stream of consciousness, lots of tangents. That's us. Hey, I am Clyde. Today I am joined by Matthew Ross.
Hi, Clyde.
Hey. And Michael Aston.
Hello, everybody.
And I'm afraid that maybe Jimmy got washed away with all of Central Florida.
Man, we knew it was going to happen eventually.
Yeah, you know, I always thought if he was going out, it was going to be by a gator attack. But
well, let's see. You got gator attack, you got hurricane, and you got just general water rising. So.
Yeah, like just weird swamp stuff.
Yeah, you could sink.
Pretty much don't have a chance if you're in Florida.
Nah.
Let's just admit that.
Oh, yeah, and then bath salts. Those zombies running around on those bath salt zombies. So, Jimmy, if you're out there where you're hearing this, we hope that you are safe and that you make it back sometime. But otherwise, how are you guys doing?
It sounds like we're doing a lot better than you are, Clyde.
Oh man, it has been a rough week. I don't remember the last 2 days. I have not been conscious.
Oh man, I'm so sorry.
Drinking a lot of this and a lot of this.
Robitussin.
Yes, Skills Cat. There's definitely some of that. So
Gatorade.
Yeah, it is. It's been a rough couple days. But I'm here. I made it.
You have the awesome voice, obviously.
Oh, I do.
Use the awesome voice.
I'm working on. Hopefully, I can keep this as my permanent voice, and then propel my radio career.
That's,
you know, radio's dying, so it's probably getting easier to find a gig.
Yeah, that makes perfect sense.
Yeah. Yeah, 'cause nobody else wants to do it.
certainly nobody wants to start a job in radio right now.
No. Well, it's like, why when I can do it for free from my bedroom? Right?
It'd probably save you money, quite frankly.
Yeah. Well, so, you know, I have been unconscious for the last couple days. What the hell has been happening in the tech world?
Well, you've missed a little bit of news. Really, there's big news that happened that we're going to talk about for our primary subject. But let's start with the little stuff. I got a story here about Sling TV, and they're getting an update which will provide what will look like a traditional, old-fashioned guide to their Sling TV experience. Apparently, this is already available for people who have using Sling TV on their Android TV. And allows you to see the good old-fashioned guide. You remember what the guide looked like? I remember the guide. I like the guide.
I like the newer guides, the ones where you could actually scroll through, not the old guide from like the 90s where it would scroll and you would blink and miss the thing you were waiting for, and you'd have to wait for it to wrap all the way around again.
Yeah.
That guide I do not want. Hopefully this is the interactive guide.
An interactive guide, not the TV guide channel.
Oh, the TV guide channel.
They really amped it up, though, once they started adding documentaries and paid commercials on top of the guide. So then the guide even became smaller, and the likelihood that you would miss what you wanted to see increased dramatically.
Especially when they put something interesting on that channel, where it's like, oh, that's cool.
Entertained. Yeah, you were.
And then you're like, I missed my thing.
Had to watch for 5 more minutes.
And then you find out that the thing you wanted to watch was on 5 minutes ago, and you already missed the beginning. And okay, sorry.
And then you actually just end up watching TV Guide channel because you're depressed, and that's the best thing you can find to watch. And then you just hate yourself.
Well, where I come from was a small town, and when they had a very interesting situation in that they had a cable system run through the town from the 70s because they had an antenna on top of the hill and they could pick up both Spokane and Seattle. I think I might have mentioned this a long time ago. They started off with a really unique channel which would give you I was told, I don't remember seeing this, but my dad told me about this. It was a camera pointed straight down at a mirror. The mirror would spin, which would allow it to show different things around as it was spinning around. So you'd have a barometer, you have temperature, and you'd have some like news. And I don't know how they updated it and think how often that worked. But this was the channel, the Channel 3 for a long time. When I was a kid, Channel 3 was the TV Guide channel, but it wasn't from TV Guide. It was a local one because it was able to pick up both. And they also had city news and upcoming events. And I remember turning on that channel and going, man, this is the best channel ever. I get to update everything I need to know from there. Then finally they got rid of it. And, of course, all this digital TV does nothing like that. So it's kind of sad, actually.
Well, referring to the sling feature, I mean, this is a pretty obvious feature. It's kind of surprising they didn't have it at first. It's something PlayStation Views had all along. If you are advertising any kind of live viewing solution, like Sling kind of focuses on, then having this feature is a no-brainer. And I can't imagine how... I mean, I did use Sling a limited amount, and that was probably a good part of why I didn't like using it. Was hard to find what you wanted, at least if it was something that showed recently. So this is a good feature, I think, especially for the kind of person that really wants to have this kind of a solution. Mm-hmm. I'm likely to want to see what is coming up or what has been on, and I don't know if this is going to offer the same feature. I don't remember reading this in there, if they had the feature to let you see what was recently shown and see it, because that would be part of a DVR type functionality that you can get out of PlayStation View, and that's one of my favorite features of View. I can do what they call catch up, or I can find my DVR'd shows that way and just see what was on and watch it. So,
and as much as I hate second screen apps, this is the perfect use for a second screen app. So hopefully they have that in the works, where you could be, just scroll through the guide while you're still watching whatever, and then just go, oh yeah, this, and then switch to it, without having to go to a small screen or interrupt. But I mean, I thought they had this guide the whole time. So
no, actually, when they started, they said we have this new way of doing television where you get to see a row of your channels.
Oh, that's right. Yeah,
they were trying to make it sound like this was the newer, cooler way of doing things, and I was always suspicious because it's like, it's not so cool, guys. I like the old way. But
then you got to remember that even when something is new and more efficient, people typically rebel against that. I mean, look at Windows 8. How people just hadn't even used it and were like, this is the worst thing ever. It's like, no, if you actually spend time and figure it out, it is amazing. And I don't want to hear it.
I don't know if I'll agree with you on that, but I will use another Microsoft reference, the ribbon, right? Microsoft transitioned the ribbon for all of their software features. That is vastly superior to the old.
Oh yeah, and people screamed and
application whatever.
And people screamed and threatened to go to open source everything, and it's like, no, you're not. You're just going to learn how to use the ribbon, and then you're going to completely forget that you were ever mad about it.
Yeah, and it's better. It works a lot more efficiently. It can be, maybe it needs to be customized a little bit for you, which you can do, but once you've got it set up the way you work, it's vastly superior to the old way.
Exactly.
So I get where they were coming from by offering that feature. However, at the same time, I also feel like they should have always had this. Having the rows of featured shows and whatnot similar to the way that Netflix and Amazon Prime and stuff show you the shows that they offer, that makes sense. It's actually a pretty good way to find related content and relevant content to you.
Mm-hmm.
But at the same time, again, you're paying for a live TV service. It makes a ton of sense to also offer that software in a really easy to access solution.
Okay, first of all, you're both wrong about Microsoft and Ribbon. I know this because I have to deal with people all the time who, hey, I'm just trying to find my paragraph settings. I can't find it anywhere. Oh, you have to find it under the right ribbon. You need to go to the formatting ribbon. What? What's a ribbon? I don't understand. You've been using this software for 5 years. You haven't done this before? No, I just typed. I don't understand. I was like, okay. So I don't know if that's true, but we're going to get past that. That being said, yes, I believe the guide is the right way to go. I like the other way of doing it too for the relevant shows. Makes perfect sense. So I'm not going to make an argument there. But that being said, the guide, this guide here, since what we can see, it's okay. It's gonna be okay. This is actually one of the better looking guides I've seen. But we've also seen some of the other guides from like, it isn't the guide on PlayStation View, like instead of this horizontal view of everything's vertical.
It is. Yeah. And
is that good or I don't know.
I don't know. The thing that works about it is that with PlayStation View being the thing is you're viewing on a widescreen TV, right? Mm. So it lets you see a lot of columns, and each column being a different channel. So it lets you see a fair number of columns at the same time, and yet still have the text be large enough to read easily and stuff like that. And then, the number of rows, that doesn't have to be very big because the time allotment. So here, right. What they're sacrificing is you can only see a smaller number of channels to get a larger number of time slots. I don't know. And I could be wrong on that. I'd have to measure. My guess is that it's something like that they decided that they'd get more channels or more time slots or something to make it easier to find what you wanted. I personally perfectly am fine with the way that the PlayStation View works. I didn't even notice that it was different.
Okay, well, one last question for the PlayStation View: is the time feeding into the bottom from the top? Is it slowly coming down, and you're the bottom bar of all the channels being shown, or is that staying static so everything is feeding into it, or is it the other way, or looking at the top and everything's feeding up?
Nothing ever changes. So,
come on!
I've never watched it for a long enough time to see like the hour change or something. So it's possible that maybe like when the hour changes, it like shifts everything down one chunk. Okay. But I've never noticed that. I guess you'd literally have to be watching when the hour transitioned for something like that to even occur. And I don't know that I've ever done that. But it doesn't really matter because you aren't constrained, right? Like you just control up and down what you want to see. So why would it even need to scroll for you?
Right. Well, I was more just wondering what direction it was going. It looks like the channels are on top, and it scrolls, and basically the things that pass then it scrolls up one way or another, which right. Is I don't know. It just seems like it'd be cool if the stuff is coming down to you. I don't know. That's totally me though. All right.
All right. Well, moving on. Epic's made a announcement, I see.
So I sure hope you have a Honda minivan, because it looks like part of your several $1,000 purchase of a Honda minivan, I know because those things are expensive. They also are kind of like spaceships inside, but that's besides the point. Are going to come when you are going to be coming with a movie deal from Epix.
Yes.
Everything. So it looks like you're going to be able to get a movie deal where it's going to be seeing many of the very brand new films that are available on Epix right to the device. Now, did not get the chance. Are they streaming this, or are they just literally putting a hard drive in your Honda?
Well, it says that it's the 2000 plus
18.
titles. It's the 2018 and up Honda Odysseys, and it appears that it's going to be streaming, because I do know that the new Hondas come with internet built in. Yeah, I'm not sure about that, but I would assume it has to be streaming. Otherwise, they wouldn't be able to update the content. They're not going to put 2,000 movies on a hard drive in every minivan. So, so I'm guessing that it's streaming. They're probably going to be like no cost. They've got some deal worked out with Honda and whoever provider is getting content to your car. But yeah, it looks like they are really thinking ahead to towards like self-driving cars. In the fact that when your car is self-driving, then everybody can watch, right?
Right.
Yeah, I mean, this is interesting to me in that, like, what you're actually getting, right? So obviously, as you indicate, this article doesn't make it totally clear, but what you're obviously indicating is got to be right, that you're getting free streaming of the content.
Yep.
You have to already have a subscription to ePix through your provider, whether it's Comcast or DirecTV or whatever.
No. I think you get the subscription by purchasing the Honda Odyssey.
Well,
You should.
it says to access ePix, customers must have a subscription through
Oh, okay.
participating pay TV providers.
Okay, I missed that.
So, yeah, I mean, I guess what Honda is doing is providing you an easy way to consume through the app that's enabled and through the connected car service. So, I mean, that's kind of cool. One thing that the article mentions and that I completely agree with is how much this is actually going to help ePix. Am I going to go out, assuming that I even own or am buying a new Honda Odyssey, am I going to go out and subscribe to ePix in order to get this service, or am I just going to use my existing Netflix service or whatever? There's two big problems here to me. First of all, you have to buy an additional service if you don't already have it, and ePix isn't huge, so you probably don't already have it. And second of all, it's streaming, right? So it doesn't indicate that there's any way to pre-cache or queue your content. So if you're driving in an area where the video isn't going to have really good LTE coverage or whatever they're using, it's going to be spotty, it's going to buffer a lot, or maybe not be available at all. I mean, the place to me where the most value out of having videos is when you're out on the road for like a road trip and you're driving between cities. Internet's pretty sketchy in those places already, so this isn't going to be a good solution. Compare that to your tablet, where you can download your Netflix shows ahead of time and have them on your tablet or your phone or whatever device.
Yep.
So, go ahead.
Oh, I was gonna say, and with kids in the car, I mean, that's how I watched Moana, driving back to town a couple months ago with my kids in the car. There was a Honda Odyssey in front of us that was playing Moana, so we just stayed behind them and watched Moana. It got complicated when they got off the freeway, and I had to follow them and nonchalantly follow them into the gas station to keep watching it.
just sing along and like you're doing the voices.
I didn't get any of the audio, but I got the gist of the movie.
Well, very likely they in the Hondas they use the IR based emitters for the headsets. So I bet you if you follow close enough and pointed a sensor correctly, you could have gotten the audio.
Yeah, my Honda Civic didn't come with those headsets, so. No, but yeah, this is a really niche market. I think they're really testing the waters, and it's worth adding. This is only for the second and third row passengers. So no matter if you're in the front where you can't watch it, you can't enjoy it.
Yeah. I mean, I got to say that there's two things about this that are appealing to me. First of all, they are making an effort to provide more connectivity and versatility to the entertainment options in a vehicle. I'd rather them be saying, well, here's a way to pre-download your Netflix shows onto like a thumb drive or an SD card that's or a hard drive that's in the car, so that you can watch it over these devices. That makes more sense to me. But that's a positive thing. And as you indicate, as we get to more like a driverless type solution, any kind of entertainment solution becomes much more valuable and much more interesting.
Yep. Absolutely.
Okay. Well, okay, a couple things from my point of view. This is Honda literally getting a checkbox on their car here. Hey, we can stream a streaming service through our car. That's what it is. It's basically, it could have been any service at all, basically, as long as they got a halfway decent one from Epic, which is basically a lower end version of HBO or Cinemax or Stars. Basically,
well, Epic is Sony, right?
I think it's actually Stars. I think they're the same company as Stars.
Oh, okay.
They're just, it's like they're even older movies.
Okay.
Thing number two, a Honda costs anywhere from $30,000 to $45,000. They can afford this stupid thing.
Well, not after you purchase the van.
No. I mean, it could be part. I mean, if it's a $500 for a year's subscription, or even less, probably a lot less for a year's subscription, that's a drop in the bucket in the cost of this car. Come on, guys.
Yeah. After I pay my monthly payment on the minivan, I can't afford Netflix even.
Well, I'm hoping
they're expensive. I've been wanting a new minivan. I drive a several-year-old Toyota Sienna that doesn't have any of the bells and whistles. It doesn't have the leather seats and stuff.
Somebody's in the market for an Odyssey.
And I would love to get a new Honda Odyssey, but yeah, you get any features at all, and you're talking like $35,000-$40,000. So they're very expensive vehicles. So this is, it's a luxury vehicle, even though it's a family vehicle, and to be offering features like this makes sense. It's also a reasonable question. Why don't you get 3 months free or something like that? Come on, guys.
Well, yeah, I mean, when you buy a new GM or even Dodge, you get Sirius XM thrown in for like up to 2 years sometimes.
Yeah.
So, yeah, I mean, I'm willing to bet that after this launches, there will be, hey, come in and get an Odyssey, and you'll get this for blah 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 is like an add-on deal. But
okay, the last thing I was going to say is that the people in the second and third row seats are probably kids, right?
Yeah.
So the shows that they mentioned in the article of what they're going to be showing the kids are Spectre, The Hunger Games, Mockingjay Part 2, Star Trek Beyond,
not
Graves,
really kid
Get Shorty,
movies.
America Divided, it's Katy Perry, Louis C.K., and Wanda
Well,
Sykes. I mean, come on.
Katy Perry is like,
sure.
Yeah, but
Wait,
you're telling me that when you're riding around with your kids in the backseat, you're not playing Louis C.K. for them?
No.
Maybe
So
I
you
need
don't
to
know.
rethink my parenting. But yeah,
I'm just saying that it's not quite matching up
my
with who's
kids-
going to be in the back seat.
my kids roll around listening to Night Attack, so yeah, I don't really have anything to comment on this. So
Okay.
okay.
Believe it or not, that was most of the news of the week.
Well, there was one other, which I added late. Oh, did I not get it into the doc?
Maybe I didn't open it.
Oh,
Nope.
no,
I didn't open it.
Oh, I
There it
did.
is.
Well, Facebook Video is now finally coming to Android TV, if you didn't see that. It says that there won't be a dedicated video app, which seems really stupid.
So is
But-
it or is it not to Android TV? I can't
But no, it sounds like the actual Facebook app, which has not been available on Android TV, is now going to be on Android TV, which will allow you to watch Facebook videos. Yeah. It sounds a little kludgy. And all you got to do, I guess, you just go to the Play Store and search for Facebook and download it. And
Social networks on TVs don't make sense. They name one that makes sense.
Yeah, and it sounds like they have no word on when, if ever, to expect an optimized Facebook timeline app for the Android TV. For now, this will have to do. So,
I'm sorry, I just do not understand this at all. This is a Facebook saying we have video. Why aren't we on all the platforms?
Although
so it on the
this does scratch an itch for me. Because there are certain games that I really like to play on my Android TV. They got uninstalled, reinstalled when I moved to the Me.
Mm-hmm.
But I could not reload my old data because it has to sync with Facebook.
Yeah.
And there's no Facebook on Android TV, so I had to start the games over.
No, that's too bad. I'm sorry.
And that pissed me off. And this will be good because, I don't think I would ever use Facebook on the TV, let alone watch their videos. But if it allows me to get my game save data that was synced with Facebook, for Asphalt 8 or, Riptide or one of those games that I love playing on my Android TV, then, yeah. Oh, and SkillsCat says he's still waiting for his Samsung Smart TV to get Twitch app. Yeah.
They're going to be waiting for a while.
Sorry, dude.
Yeah. One thing I would say that this is maybe a little more important than you're seeing is that this is also probably a large part of Facebook's move towards the video world, right? So this is them making an effort to get a little bit closer, getting an app on the TV where people can see the videos. Because, I mean, that's one of the things that they really want to have happen is that they want to become a source for video. So, while they're nothing relevant right now other than watching, a clip of a cat on your thing like YouTube was 10 years ago, they still are trying to make a move into video and become more relevant like YouTube has. So this is a step in that direction, and that is really what this is all about. It's getting in front of people on their big screens, even though as a way to consume Facebook doesn't really make a lot of sense. You're going to use your phone rather than your TV while you watch something else, probably.
Okay, so let's say they're doing this so they can do the Chromecast effect with Facebook. Let's say they put the video app on, starting with Android TV, but they get it on the Fire Stick and they get it on the Apple's TV, and they get it to the point where you can be on Facebook and you go, oh, look at this cool video, and be able to quickly send it off to the device that is nearby in your room. I mean,
yeah,
that makes sense. Suddenly, we'll see. Maybe that's what they're doing.
And actually, it looks like maybe I read this wrong. You won't get a dedicated Android TV version of the Facebook app. You will get a Facebook video player built. Right. Okay. So that changes that. That explains at the bottom where they say they won't. Don't know if you'll ever get the timeline. So this isn't the Facebook app that's like on your phone. This is just Facebook video, which still. I don't know if I'll use it, but when we're done here, I'll probably install it, and then
it's like I agree with you that it's probably not something that's really relevant and really makes a lot of sense for most people. However, I think that that's really what this is about. It's them making their effort to get into the video world a little bit more.
Well, and they've been touting this Facebook video for 2 years now, and nothing has come of it. So I mean, it's about time they've started making some moves.
Yeah, they're realizing that it's not just going to happen magically. You don't just build a website and become a billionaire overnight. You've got to do a lot of work. And it seems to me like initially they thought, well, everybody uses Facebook. All we got to do is add video and everybody will use it and we'll blow away YouTube because we got more users than YouTube. So, but no.
No, the problem with the Facebook video is that it's not a video platform that's not its primary focus. Its primary focus is being a social platform.
It wants to be, though.
Which is great for those instantly likable little tiny videos, the literally 30 seconds max videos. Those are what it's perfect for. But it's never going to be a YouTube unless they actually, reformat a little bit to become a YouTube style location for you, where watching videos is the primary focus. That's how I feel like. But this idea of, oh, look at this cool video, let me quickly send it off to my TV, because the TV has the Facebook app, so it's really fast and easy to do that. That makes sense. Seriously, I'm hoping that's what they're doing. I'm hoping they're making it load super fast. I'm hoping that it's really, once you're in there, it's pretty easy to back out, and just anybody can throw anything up there, and maybe a setting that you can lock down to who you can be on there. But keeping it simple and small, and do that one purpose for you have a bunch of friends over, and I got this great video on YouTube, on Facebook, click, and off it goes. That would be great.
Yep, I agree.
All right.
Well, I hear, we moved this to the main topic because I figured might want a little bit of discussion, but I heard some rumblings about it's official. There was some sort of WWDC announcement that people were cheering about. What was going on?
So the announcement is the WWDC the huge keynote that they did. It was 2.5 hours long. I mean, that's longer than a lot of movies. But they spent about 20 seconds on this. They said, yep, Amazon Video is coming to Apple TV. We're really excited about it.
Yeah, we talked about this, about a month ago? There was a report, rumors, so you're saying that that's official?
It's officially happening,
and it's
2017.
It's such a big deal that they made the announcement at the Apple thing.
It is the developer conference.
Wow!
So,
that must be this must be an amazing app. It's the new version of Amazon, right?
You can. Well, go ahead and answer that. Is it?
The short answer is we don't know. We haven't seen an app. It hasn't been out yet. We've gotten a little bit of clarification of what it means. We are getting the Amazon Instant Video app. Nothing more. It's not going to be.
So it must support 4K, right?
Well, the Apple TV currently doesn't, but there's a rumored new one coming out this year. So basically, they fed the rumor machine very well. Nice. Fed it with a nice, nice sad story about how, or not sad, but a nice story to make this happen. It's going to be amazing. Well, the big news about this, really, if we look at it from a little bit further away point of view, is that the Apple TV now looks like the platform that can do almost everything. There wasn't a platform, except for kind of the Roku, that couldn't do Apple stuff, but it could do everything else. Now almost everything that the Roku could do, the Apple TV can do, plus the Apple stuff. So, if you're looking at your options of which streaming player you want to play your content, and you want to look at the one that can handle the most, right now, Apple is the one, or it's going to be the one, with the broadest base. Which is good news for Apple.
What were you going to say, Michael?
I was just going to say that... honestly, I don't even remember. I lost it. It's gone.
Sorry.
Go ahead.
Oh, I was going to say, while that was the Recode article, said, it just covered the announcement, Forbes had a slightly different take on the announcement, saying that this Apple TV news from WWDC is embarrassing on multiple levels. And, and when I was reading this, I actually kind of agree because, it echoes a lot of the things that I've said on here over the last several months. But, the things that they had to say, like, the fact that they're making a big song and dance about adding a massively overdue feature to its Apple TV box would have been frankly better if Apple had just quietly rolled it out rather than, making a big spectacle.
Yeah, I mean, this gets back to the point that I actually wanted to make. That I was going to say is that you were saying, "Wow, this is that important that they brought this up," and to me, that really isn't. That's actually the point. This is the best they could come up with for this event.
Yeah.
This was really, in my opinion, a really lackluster event this year. They didn't have very many neat things to bring out. Like last year, they at least had interesting looking things. They turned out to be awful and horrible things, like the Magic Bar on your MacBook Pro, which they did a refresh on the MacBook Pro, and I was waiting for them to announce that they decided that was stupid and they took it off. But unfortunately, they didn't. So I still have this stupid Magic Bar on my work laptop.
The tragic bar.
It is. It's horrible. Going back to my rant from a few weeks ago, but this event, I mean, the best thing they had was announcing the HomePod, which is a horrible name for a product that's also 2 years late, right? Like, I mean, the Echo came out 2 years ago, and they're basically creating a new Echo that's maybe got better sound quality or something, but yeah.
Okay. Well, the HomePod is an interesting product, and I think we should talk about that because it is a streaming device. But let's get back to that.
Yeah, and I was going to say echoing what Forbes said, the fact that they put so much emphasis on this and they didn't mention the actual upgrades to the Apple TV that such as home screen sync and automatic dark modes.
Those are cool.
What's that?
Those are cool. Those
yeah,
are good
I mean,
features.
the fact that they're adding something antiquated that has been on pretty much every other platform forever, that's big news. But the actual new things that they're adding, we're not even going to talk about that. Yeah, because Forbes speculates that that obviously it's not going to support the 4K, and then they're getting the almost 2-year-old app. So they're getting basically the same app that's been on the phones that has not been updated in almost 2 years. So they're still lagging way behind some of the other devices out there. So, I mean, yeah. Kudos to Apple and Amazon for getting past their differences, I guess. But I don't think this is big deal.
So here's how this should have happened, if you ask me. Apple and Amazon should have gotten together and said, "Okay, we want to destroy Google. Okay, we can live with each other. Let's go ahead and destroy Google." Now, as you know, I'm a big Google fanboy, so I actually wish that things like this wouldn't happen. But this stuff, I suspect, does happen. So I think what they should have done is Apple should have said, "Okay, fine. We will let you sell your stuff at a reduced rate. We'll negotiate a good rate but you're going to be buying this stuff through our store, through our interface, and we want to get just your standard affiliate fee for everything that's bought through Apple products, especially TV products and anything bought with Siri." Okay, we're going to make that happen. And that means Amazon, you can come in here with that reduced price. Make a good deal for them. That way, anything you buy with the HomePod, with the TV, and with your map, you get a nice little kickback going back to Apple, which that would be a lot of money. I don't see what they would earn a decent amount out of that.
Well, I mean, that's one thing that I would be really interested to see and understand. I mean, it's always felt like the big barrier for Amazon getting this software onto the Apple TV is the fact that you normally can buy all of your video content inside of the Amazon Video app. And that makes the experience very seamless because you can watch all the things that you've bought through Amazon and you can just get new videos that you want to see in one place. But giving Apple a cut of that, like they ask for everything else you buy through their apps that are on their app store, would be prohibitive to Amazon. In some cases, that would mean that they would make no money or even lose money. In other cases, it just means that they take a big hit on something that really they have no reason to take a big hit on. Like, why should they give that cut? So my guess is that they finally got a really good deal.
No, my guess is actually they didn't get any deal at all. They just got an agreement of, okay, we're going to show videos through the Apple TV, but we're not going to have a store on it. We're going to let people buy it externally, just like we do with what you do on your iPad or iPhone. We're going to just keep that deal going forward, and you're not going to be buying anything. So Apple, you don't get 30% of all of our fees. But what I was suggesting is that Apple just gets everything but purchased with Siri or on the TV gets the standard Amazon affiliate fee, and that Amazon affiliate fee is a little tiny fee that Amazon gives away to anybody. And we also know that Amazon is super happy to lose money on video. So what's the problem here? So
they're super happy to lose money on certain video, right? Like, so Amazon Prime, they're okay losing money on, but there's a reason that they don't just let you watch all of the videos free, because they're not okay losing money on all of that other stuff. They make money on their videos normally.
Absolutely. So, and the affiliate fee is what percentage? It's a tiny percentage.
It depends on the product. I mean, it's anywhere from like up to 5% and down to probably under 1%. I don't know all of them, but yeah, it can be very, very small. So that's the tiny amount that they could be kicking back to Apple, but Apple would be feeding so much of this stuff that Apple's not going to be selling in any other way. People saying, hey, Apple device, yo Siri, whatever you want to say, go buy me some diapers, and they get the affiliate fee for that. They would make bank. Because the people are gonna, of course, there's gonna be those people who are gonna be saying, yo Siri, with my 2 or 3 home pods in my room here, so I get the best surround sound. Buy me that big expensive gold watch here. I'll take. And Apple's like, yeah, I'll take that 2% affiliate fee, no problem.
Can you sync your AirPods to the home pods?
I don't know. But
okay, no, there was one quote, or there's one thing in this article I really wanted to quote because I kind of liked the way he worded it. But he said, all the same, the singular WWDC Apple TV announcement feels overall like not just a little too late, but pretty much an advert for why you shouldn't buy an Apple TV right now. A perspective underlined by Tim Cook himself when he suggested that there will be more to report on Apple TV later this year, meaning most surely there's a new Apple TV box coming with 4K and HDR support.
Well, since we haven't got Amazon yet, it would make sense for them to include Amazon at the announcement of the new hardware. It's actually brilliant marketing. If you ask me, they're doing it just right as far as the marketing. They're getting the deals that nobody else is getting. They're trying really hard to make this their box. And because it's Apple, they can use their muscle and use their money to do whatever they want. So, again, I'm not a big Apple fan because I don't like being siloed. But, yeah, it actually is a really good thing for them. So I don't know.
For something that should be a premier product from them, it always, I mean, I guess it has always been like a secondary, like redheaded stepchild, but you'd think by now they would put more effort into their streaming box that they keep trying to tout as being the best, yet it's always lagging so far behind.
Well, okay, explain to me how it's lagging so far behind, because actually it's not.
Well, okay, and I'd ask you the same thing. Why do you think it's not?
Okay, so it's compared to all the other boxes. It has maybe not the best search video voice search, but it has it, and it's decent. It's not great, but it's decent. out of all the different voice services, it has every single one of the major platforms that you can watch on it. None of the other ones can say that. Not even Roku, because they don't have Apple TV. Unlike a lot of these other boxes, it's a little bit more expensive than most of them, but compared to a decent Roku, it's about the same price, $130. Not 4K. That's true. That's really like their Achilles heel, and the other Achilles heel they used to have was no Amazon TV. They fixed that, and if they, at the same time they fix the fact that it's not 4K, it's great. The only thing is, I expect Apple to announce this really nice 4K box for $250.
Yeah, and to add to what you're saying, the other platforms, the voice is great. If you've used voice on Android TV, they've had voice going all the way back to Google TV, the second and third generations, and it always worked awesome. The only reason that the Apple stuff isn't on the other platforms is because Apple never puts their products on any other platform. So that, you take that right out of the consideration. I mean, that's not even,
I would agree. I would agree with you, except for there's a huge wallet-filled people with thick wallets. No, there's a large group of people who only buy Apple.
Well, no, and those people are going to buy it, no matter how good the product is or how bad it is. Those people are going to buy it. Those people are not the people that are you and I are that are involved in this this debate. And then there's the problem that while Apple may have a lot, you can say all, but of the apps that everybody wants, they're not typically not current. Like YouTube's a perfect example. YouTube app on there is 3 to 4 iterations behind, and not necessarily due to Google not trying to update it, but due to Apple's restrictions, and there's and there are other apps that are like that. I don't have an Apple TV, so I can't report on exactly which ones. But, I mean, while Apple, it may be more competitive now, it is still behind.
Okay.
And that's,
I see where you're coming from, because it's behind in software version.
It's behind on most of it. It's still not at 4K. There's a lot of things where they're still behind. I don't think they're ahead on anything.
What's the level of integration with Siri and your other apps and stuff like that too, right? So that's something where I think that they're trailing, they're just bringing up the rear on a lot of things, which actually, I mean, that could be Apple's motto right now. Like for the last few years,
10 years,
when you. Well, not quite that long, but yeah, for the last several number of years, every time you hear their announcements, a lot of this, the majority of the stuff, are things that you could have gotten, like on the iPhone. Almost everything they added to the iPhone in the last round was stuff that you've had on Android for years, or even on the Windows phone. So
I'd say perfect example of that was a few years ago when they added the shade. And they said, we added this new revolutionary thing. You can pull it down from the top. And I was like, yeah, we've had that on Android since, like, Froyo? Yeah. So, like, what, 2008?
So, I mean, I think that's something that's kind of become the way that Apple works. They are a trailer, they're a laggard, but they do a good job when they actually get around to doing it. They make it look pretty, or at the very least, they make it integrate well with their ecosystem, so the people that are already bought in entirely, like Jimmy, don't really have a lot of choices, and it works for them, so they might as well stick with it.
Yeah, why is it that whenever we have an Apple discussion, Jimmy is, just happens to not be here?
I don't know. Maybe he's tired of being an Apple apologist. He doesn't want to have to be here and be the guy that
he doesn't want to have his Apple cred questioned.
Nobody's questioning his Apple cred. No, nobody is. We're going to be questioning his choices, but not his cred.
It's actually kind of nice though, because we can sit here and dish on Apple as much as we want, and there's nobody to refute it. It's you know.
Yeah,
I'm
Apple,
trying to do that.
Ever.
Yeah, and I don't know. I just think, and like I said, I wonder why they put so much emphasis on this announcement, but they didn't bother even talking about the other things that were actually upgrades to the existing platform that would make the platform better.
Good question.
Oh, we're not even going to talk about that. We're adding this old thing that everybody's had forever. We're amazing. Yeah.
Well, I think it's because there actually was a big demand for it. That's
Yeah.
why. People wanted it. These poor Apple people with their Apple TVs have been hearing all this good stuff about Man in the High Castle, and they haven't broken down, or maybe some of them have, but it's too. It's just like you, Clyde. It's too hard to switch inputs.
No, it's not too hard to switch inputs. I just don't want to do it.
Exactly. So I don't want to do it. So why can't I just do this on my Apple TV? And it's getting integration into the Apple TV app. So it will be a unified experience, and you will be able to tell it, "Hey, I want to watch Man in the High Castle," and it won't care that it's on which service.
Which is exactly what the Google TV did in its first generation.
Oh, I know, but of course,
but
Apple
nobody
did it first.
wanted it, so they got rid of it because
Apple
everybody
did it first, though.
Yeah.
Okay, I'd like to switch gears. I'd like to talk about the HomePod.
Okay, well,
sure.
So I don't know anything about this HomePod. Sell me on the HomePod. Tell me, why do I need it?
Well, it's a giant marshmallow in either white or burnt colors, and you get to listen to amazing music. It's it's $350.
Do I need an iTunes account?
You have to buy it because it is going to reinvent home audio.
Yeah, obviously you haven't been listening to music.
Okay.
Because you can't listen to music without it.
That's
what they implied.
First question. Do I have to have an iTunes account?
So,
well, of course.
Okay, then I'm out. I'm already out.
Have an Apple Music.
I can't purchase it.
Not just iTunes, but the Apple Music account, because that's how you get the music.
So it is still a product in development. So they do not have any real announcements other than we're coming out with this and we made it the best speaker you could ever buy. But here's the thing. They only said that right now the only thing that it will be able to play is Apple Music streaming service.
Okay.
Not even necessarily iTunes. That was not.
No, announced. I mean they definitely indicated that it would be able to play. Well, did they?
They didn't say.
I want to say that they indicated that it would be able to play movies and stuff like that. But then again, I'm like, maybe they didn't. I don't know. Like, I think that was like my brain inserting that because it was so obvious.
So,
somebody asked their Alexa to tell them about the Apple HomePod. I want to know what I want to know what Alexa has to say about that.
So here's the real thing about it. It's got 7 tweeters built at the bottom to make an array of sound. Well, what they're trying to do is trying to do directionality of sound here in order to detect what your room is like and try to correctly send sound the right direction. It's also got a big subwoofer built into it, pointed up. I don't know anything about sound engineering, if that's a good thing or a bad thing, whatever. And it's able to do this cool magical trick where it can go ahead and detect your room configuration and make sure it fills the room with the correct sound. And in fact, it's even better if you buy 2 of them. And I only have one silly question about that. Is it do I have to have 2 in order to get stereo sound?
No. So here's
you can get simulated stereo, but yeah.
Well, I can get mixed mono.
You can definitely get stereo sound with this device with only one of them, and the reason is because it has 7 speakers that shoot out in different directions. Mm-hmm. So if I shoot different sound on either side, then you will inherently get stereo sound. Now, so here's the thing: this device, those things are actually fairly cool. The idea of being able to use sound and the microphone to map the room and to get a feel for the acoustics of the room will, if it's done right, be able to provide a better quality sound.
I mean, I've got a DBX rack unit that I've been using for years that you map out the room, you stand in a specific place, you play a sound, and then it knows where the speakers are, and it adjusts the time. So it knows that when the speaker leaves, how much time does it take to get to somebody's ears based on the size of your room, and then that's what you use in like live sound in concerts and stuff to get the sound right for the specific room. Yeah. So I mean, that technology has been available in most audio receivers forever. It's in my $100 car stereo. I can do the same thing, you know. So I mean, the fact that they're doing that, okay, rock on.
Okay, so if I could call this the Apple Hi-Fi 2. So hopefully it's better than Hi-Fi 1, which apparently was amazing sound. I don't know. I didn't ever listen to one. But I'm very curious if it can be Simon in the left ear and Garfunkel in the right ear out of a single speaker. I really want to know that, because to me, having stereo sound is actually important. And if I do buy 2, will it do stereo sound with 2 correctly? These are questions that I would like to know that were announced. Now, if it does that, awesome. Good job, Apple. It's $350 though seems a little steep, but it is supposedly a really amazing speaker. I don't know the price of speakers. I don't know if it's relative to a decent speaker system. So
if you compare this to like the Sonos speakers, which are considered to be, you know, from a non-audiophile level, I mean, and maybe even pseudo-audiophile level, to be a very high quality home audio solution, the prices are very comparable. Those run like, I think, $300 to $400 depending on the speaker. They're supposed to be really good. I find them to be okay. They're a solid step above, in my opinion, Bose or Polk audio speakers, at least the consumer stuff that you get in most stores. But that doesn't mean that they're amazing. And so to come in at that price, I think that's reasonably competitive. I don't think one thing that I do find interesting is that he goes in, and when I watched him presenting it, he talked about how amazing it was, and then he immediately says, and you can get even better sound by adding a second one, as if you have to add a second one to actually get amazing sound. It's like, why didn't you, like, you should have used that as, if you want to get more sound or you have a bigger room and you need to fill a larger space. But to make it sound like, yeah, it does a good job.
It sounds okay, but yeah.
Good job until you get 2. That was kind of my takeaway.
And my question is, how much more expensive is this going to be than, say, a Google Home or a Echo?
Well, at $350, you can get 2 or 3 Echoes. You can get
$350.
Yes.
They lost me at Apple Music, you know. Now it's already yeah.
Well, like I said, it's comparable in price to a Sonos speaker, to a Wi-Fi enabled Sonos speaker. So I don't think it's an unreasonable price. However, the sound better be amazing, because the Amazon Echo has good sound at $150 to $200. The Google Home, I hear, has good sound at the same kind of price. And they both offer a huge variety of functionality that I think the HomePod will be challenged to match, and definitely challenged to exceed. So they're really putting all of their eggs in the basket of amazing sound quality, in my opinion. Because if you really want the connectivity stuff, you're going to go with one of the other devices that's already vastly superior to what Apple is talking about. He didn't talk about any of the other functionality that you get out of Google Home and the Echo.
Yeah.
He did not talk hardly.
Oh, yeah, you don't want to talk about anything that you can't beat, right?
Yeah, I don't remember him saying anything about controlling Internet of Things devices and stuff like that. I mean, he did say there's Siri integration, so you'll be able to ask it things and like get the weather and whatnot, at least
and
presumably.
bad attitude.
Yeah, and bad attitude. But, you know, when when you're looking for a device like this, if you can get good sound and have something that can control your home and do all of your home automation devices through your voice, that's what you're getting out of the Echo in the home. And you can pick up, for the price of this, you can pick up 3 Dots and the Amazon Echo and still beat that price.
Yeah.
And fill your entire house with sound instead of one room.
Okay, so the interesting facts. Apparently, at CES, Sonos announced that they're going to go ahead and they're going to go ahead and integrate with Alexa.
Yep.
Suddenly, Apple doesn't like Sonos anymore and says we're so much better than Sonos. So that's interesting. Second thing.
Oh, good.
Go ahead.
No, I was going to say, somebody in the chat, remind me after we're done with the official recording. I will tell you guys a Sonos story from my time at Best Buy.
Second thing I was going to say, what was the second thing I was going to say? Yeah, they build this when they came out and said, you haven't heard music in your house because you've had horrible speakers. You've been dealing with these pieces of crap speakers that they're not the same. They're not good music. They basically came out and built this as a music solution for you. So much so that they downplayed all the other stuff. They were trying to tell you this is purely a music device, which begs the question, great, okay, let's say it can do iTunes off of any computer and any phone, and let's say, or any Apple phone, and let's say it can also do the Apple streaming music off of any phone, whether it be Android or Apple. What else can it do? Am I going to be able to use anything else, or is it going to be only Apple? And if that's the case, this is crap. I want to be able to do something else with it. Can I plug in my TV into it? Can I buy a Chromecast audio and plug it into it? Come on.
You'll be able to output from your Apple TV audio to this, but no other
at
devices.
At the current rate, in about 3 years, you'll be able to do the stuff that the Echo and the Google Home can do right now.
Right.
Okay. Any other thoughts on this?
Wonderful Apple bashing episode.
It's not our fault. Apple, Jimmy didn't show up. So
gave us too much ammunition. It wasn't the intent. So, any other final thoughts before we wrap this up?
The one thing I would say is I'm hopeful that this is a good audio product. I think that it has potential, but I also think that it's absolutely ridiculous. And most importantly, HomePod is an absolutely stupid name.
You don't like the name?
Really? Come on. Give up on the Star Pod thing. Come on. That's...
Oh, they probably have every copyrightable name with the word pod at the end. So this is just like, which one we're going to use? Oh, we could use Sound Pod. Oh, no, let's not use that one.
They chose that name because podcasting was first becoming popular, and everybody at this point thinks that Apple created podcasting because it's pod in the name, right?
Yeah.
Podcasting got the name.
It's personal broadcasting.
Well, is that what it came from? Personal.
It was a personal broadcast, so it was a podcast.
I thought it.
No. Podcasting predates the iPod.
Okay. Well, the history books may have it different, so you better champion that correction of history then. Okay. Personal broadcast. I like that. Thank you. The only other thing I have to say about it is it looks like a big fluffy marshmallow, and I want to eat it up. Because it looks delicious.
Yeah. All right. Well, hey, let's get into rants, raves. You guys got anything to rant or to rave about? I've got a couple things.
I got a quick thing for you guys. So, I took my son out to the movies. We don't usually go to the movies. He's not a big movie guy. I don't know why. I keep asking him to go, but he doesn't want to go with me. But there's one movie that was coming out that he was really into. And that was Captain Underpants, the first epic movie. And I gotta say, that movie is hilarious. It is absolutely the funniest movie I've seen in a long time. This there are two levels of humor in that movie. There are fart jokes and there's high level humor for the adults, and it's mixed so well, and it is a, I mean, even the puppet sequence was great. I mean, it's just a perfect little, and the other thing is it's really short. It's 90 minutes long, so it's a little short little bite of a movie. If your kids have ever watched or have read any of the Captain Underpants books as kids, tell them to go see the movie. Go with them. It's hilarious. I recommend it only because it's a good 90 minutes.
Rock on. I'm not familiar with the Captain Underpants at all, other than the name, but I hear that it should be good. So
Captain Underpants is not the main character of the story. The two kids.
Oh, I understand that.
Story. So
I'm just saying I never read any of the books like some of the people out there. So,
but some people, they go, I don't want to watch a movie about a guy who runs around in his underwear the whole time. Well, that's like 25% of the movie, really. So it's not about that.
Yeah.
Yeah.
I've got a rant about movies as well. I got to see Wonder Woman last week, and it was outstanding. Very, very happy. And first of all, one of DC's best characters, so it's good that she was awesome and that the movie was awesome. Second of all, DC actually made a good movie.
Yay!
It's amazing.
It's about time. It only took 30 years.
No, Man of Steel was pretty good.
I mean, they've made a fair number of movies that weren't awful, but they have not made very many movies that were actually good. I felt Man of Steel wasn't awful, but it wasn't good either. I didn't. Oh. This movie was good. I actually really enjoyed the opening video that they did on Cord Killers of the guy choking, and like the guy coming in and freaking out about there being a good DC movie, and then the guy starts choking on his food because he can't believe it. And yeah, that seems reasonable now.
I apparently am in a very large minority in the fact that I kind of enjoyed Green Lantern. But
whoa!
But I'm not a comic book guy, so even if the entire movie was wrong, I wouldn't know.
Well, you
had to have enjoyed that a little bit because of how bad it was, the animation and stuff, right?
I also saw it in a drive-in, so it was. So it's always going to be a little blurry and off to begin with. So that may be why I enjoyed it. The sound was excellent with the subwoofer in my car, and the deep boo, and make the whole car shake. And yeah,
I mean, the movie was, not good, but the animation was the biggest problem there. It just, so much of it looked ridiculous. I think that DC has made a bunch of decent movies. Most of the movies I haven't disliked as much as most people, but I just feel like none of them have been really stellar. I didn't like Batman vs. Superman. I enjoyed watching that movie, but I didn't like the interpretations of the characters, and that bothered me. So, I didn't love the movie as a result. I just enjoyed it, and I wouldn't consider it a good movie. I wouldn't recommend it to a DC fan, because I think most DC fans that I've talked to felt like, it missed the mark on the characters and the way that they acted and stuff like that. I think that's kind of DC's downfall has generally been that while they are making good or decent movies, they're not making movies as well for their fans as they should be. And, I don't know if that's just because they're not getting directors that are as passionate about the characters or that are as passionate about the comics themselves, but they're missing something. Most of the movies miss the mark in some way in their ability to connect on an emotional level with the people that love the characters the most. And that's why they get so much hate.
So, in my opinion, most comic book movies that are good have a good villain, and most comic book movies that are bad have crappy villains. Let's take Green Lantern for example. I can understand why you like that movie actually, because it does try to do fun things, and it's funny at points, and you get to see a guy literally build things out of green light, and it's spectacle. And also, I could understand why in a drive-in theater it might be more fun. I don't know, but the villain in that movie was ridiculous and really had no depth to him, and it was kind of just I'm just pure hate.
Dark Redeemer says you mean a big yellow cloud doesn't make a good villain?
No, well, no, but so for example, Superman v Batman, the villain was Lex Luthor, basically, if you want to really pick a real villain in that movie. And most people didn't like how Lex Luthor was played out. Although I liked it, but then again, I'm a big fan of the Joker, which basically is what he was playing. So
yeah, I mean, so that's exactly my point, though. Like, if you are a DC fan, then that interpretation of Lex Luthor missed the mark.
Right. Probably,
because that was not the comic book version of Lex Luthor. Lex Luthor is a genius mastermind, not some mostly crazy sociopath. And yes, Luthor is a sociopath, but he is brilliant and charismatic and
socially functional.
Socially functional, exactly. I mean, he became president in the comics, right? So that's just totally missing the mark on that character. Batman had no principle. Well, he sacrificed almost all of his principles. The things that he, in most of the comics, holds so dear and sets as his boundaries, he missed. That was the thing that bothered me. Batman is going to assassinate somebody. Like, that's so counter to what Batman, who doesn't kill people.
Adam West would never do that.
No, he wouldn't.
So sorry about those spoilers. I will not mention anything more about Wonder Woman other than that it was awesome and you should see it.
Apparently the villain was good in Wonder Woman, so...
Was the villain a man?
No. My wife totally spoiled the villain, and I won't say what she said to me because it would spoil it to just about everybody. But it drove me crazy when I got in there and I started watching the movie, and she didn't realize she had done it. She was just making an offhand comment about something to my daughter, and knowing that I was there. And it was, and she repeated it a number of times. And so I start watching the movie, and every movie has a twist. Sorry, spoiler, guys.
Free movie.
The little bit of a twist that's in the movie was totally spoiled because of her offhand comment, and I was like,
don't do it.
It was okay. It was still an awesome movie, and it didn't really damage it, but it was great. Go see it.
All right. So real quick, I've got both rant and a slight apology. First off, my rant, which is what I couldn't remember I wanted to talk about last week. Netflix. You remember about a month or so ago, we talked about how their star system went away and was replaced by the thumbs? And yes. I was kind of angry. Now,
a little bit.
It's completely ruined my viewing experience on Netflix because, number one, Netflix no longer remembers what I have watched, and it keeps telling me to watch stuff that I know I have watched before. Number two, the stars are gone. That is how I kept track when scrolling through. If I've rated it, then I know for a fact I have watched it. I'm not going to remember every single thing I have watched in the last 10 years on Netflix. Nearly 10 years, right? Well, that's gone. So now lately I'm like, crap. Have I seen this? And I have to sit there and then start watching it and go, yeah, I've seen this crap. And then go back on. I'm wasting so much time that I don't even want to go into Netflix anymore. Unless it's something brand new, Netflix original probably that I know I've never watched. I'm not watching anything on Netflix. And that's all because they killed that star system. And I can't bring myself to thumb anything because nothing fits into just a yes or a no, because there are things that I was like, I liked it enough, but not enough that I want other things to be rated similarly. but I don't want to give it a no because I might want something that's similar. Yeah,
So is your... Are you saying that it damaged the recommendations already for you, or just...
Yeah, it's like it just reset because
Really?
now there's nothing, and it just, so the suggestions that it's popping up is stuff that I've already watched that I'm not gonna watch again. I took the time to rate it in the past. I'm not going through and doing it again. So now I don't use Netflix. So thanks, Netflix.
Yeah. Well, I would say I want to jump in on your rant because I think it's interesting that it's damaged your recommendations. It hasn't affected mine at all. Granted, I don't use it a lot, and so maybe that's part of it, that I haven't been using it very much. But it hasn't affected my recommendations at all, and I haven't done any thumbs up or thumbs down since it started, other than like the first day I thumbed up and thumbed down a few things that I had already like fallen in love with, like my favorite shows and stuff. But other than that, that's all I've done. And I do get what you're saying, though. I feel like the nuance of 5 stars was so valuable because it was really important to be able to say...
I liked it, but I didn't hate it. So, 3 stars.
Yep. It is a little bit too binary for something like, did you enjoy this? Because enjoyability is definitely on a scale. It is not a binary situation. This is something, to me, this feels like a decision made by a programmer. It's like, did I enjoy it? Did I not enjoy it? 1 or a 0? Yes or no? And not really thinking about the fact that the world isn't that black and white.
Well, it looks like a lot of that. I've got an article that I just threw in the chat that looks like it's not going over so well, anyways. But I have a suggested attempt at a fix for you, Clyde. Thumbs up everything you like. This is crazy, I know, but thumbs up everything you like, everything you watch. Just watch
even
it.
If I barely liked it.
If it's like, oh, it was watchable, thumbs up. Everything you watch, and then, oh no, that was crap, thumbs down. But give it that signal anyways. And by giving it everything, you are going to... Well, or you could do the opposite, I suppose. It would be nice if we could do some type of experiment where everything's thumbed down unless you really liked it. And see if it needs enough information in order to provide you some recommendations, and it sounds like it just doesn't have enough.
It should already have all of that.
But it erased everything.
But that's why I'm angry. It's because I spent years doing that, cultivating it, and they just all got thrown away. So, and for that reason, I'm like, screw it.
What's odd what is really odd about that is that one of the things when they announced this, they did specifically say that they were utilizing your viewing habits in addition to your ratings and stuff. So they should be able to make really good recommendations based on your viewing habits, not your ratings.
They should. But like I said, also, I relied on the stars being yellow to tell me if I had watched something like maybe 4 years ago. And even though it's now just like on Netflix now, it's been gone for years, but it always remembered, oh, you watched this a long time ago. Now I've got nothing to go off of. So, but I mean, hey, that's whatever. The other thing that I was going to say, I owe a big apology to CW. Because last week I was talking major crap about their streaming app. I didn't realize that they have a new streaming app just called the CW. I was talking about CW Seed, which was the streaming app that they were using in the past. Because when they took everything off Hulu, they apparently set up a new CW app, but I didn't know that. The only reason I figured that out was because the screensaver on the Roku, it shows you like recommendations if you push and it said something about one of the new CW shows, and I went, wait. So I pushed the play button, and then it took me to the thing to download the new app. While it's not perfect, I'd say it's about the same quality as that of FX and AMC in the fact that all of the shows are there, but not all of the past content. But to their credit, it's completely free. So I was able to go through and watch the last 4 episodes of iZombie that are sitting on my TiVo that I just haven't watched because I have to push input, and then I just haven't gotten around to it. But I watched the last 4 episodes, and it streamed perfectly well. There was commercials, which you expect. And CW, it's a perfectly fine app, especially when you factor in it's completely free. So if you've got a CW addiction, something you want to watch, it's out there on the Roku, on the CW app. It's just called CW app.
Okay.
So that's it.
Yay!
All right, we went a little bit long, but that is okay. You guys are still with us. Thank you so much for hanging out. All of you in the chat room participating. Make sure this is a point where we need to go out to Showbot and look at the titles. And while we're doing that, go out and vote. I will wrap this up. We will be back next week. Same time, 9 o'clock Central on DCTV every Wednesday night. Also, check us out on YouTube. Past episodes, just do a search for the VOD Squad. You'll find all of our past episodes. And that is about it. We will see you guys next week. Bye.
Diamond Club hopes you have enjoyed this program.